This is a review of The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Not only is it a review, I want to give you some tips for reading Toni Morrison's books that are going to really help you because she is a magnificent, one-of-a-kind writer. But her writing is at a higher level. And so in order to be able to enjoy the book and really get, the most meaning out of it that you possibly can, you really have to have some strategies before you read it. Now, this book was her first book, and it's one of her shorter books. But that does not mean that is an easy book to read. It is not. The themes of the book, the events that happen in the book are tough, but the writing is superb. This is what I call a writer's book. This book helps writers like me to improve their skills and techniques in writing. This is not something you would learn in a class because the way that she uses the techniques in her books, they've never been taught. In this book alone, this book is more narration and monologues and character development, strong character development, to the point where you understand why some of the events take place. Now, you might not agree with them. And you probably would say, well, that person is adult. They should not have abused a child, right? No matter what was going on with them. But when you get the backstory, when you see the character, then you begin to at least minimally understand, okay, I know where that came from. It just didn't pop out of a hat. So that's why I call her, she is a writer's author. There's very few dialogue in the book, except for at the very end. When Piccola is talking to herself or imaginary friend, and you see her mental breakdown. But otherwise, in the book, it's mostly narration with a little bit of dialogue. Toni Morrison's books tend to have a lot of themes in them. Now, we all know she writes from the African-American experience. She writes about us. She writes about African-Americans. But within that, there are lots of themes that come out in her book about relationships, mother-daughter, father-daughter in this book, friendships, violence, sexual abuse, religious craziness, different towns and scenes, and racism. So you want to be on the lookout for that when you're reading. What is the theme of what you're reading about in that person's life, in that person's setting? I mean, she sets the setting very, very well. You know exactly, you can feel yourself where that person is at. That's how good it is. Then you want to look at the genre. What type of book is this one? Is this just drama? Of course, it's a fiction book. Is it dark melodrama? Is it a mystery? Is it suspenseful? Those are the kinds of things that you're going to be looking for about the book. And some of that you should really know before you start to read it. Because if it is a dark melodrama, like this one is, it's probably not going to have a happy ending. And this one did not have a happy ending. No spoiler alert. You may be like me where you have to read it in spurts, because if you read it all together, you're going to be calling your therapist for an appointment. Right? So you want to make sure that if you're sensitive in that way, you give yourself some space in between reading it, which is fine. Now, this is one of her shorter books. And so it's still jam-packed, no matter if it's shorter or not. So, like I said, maybe it's a good idea before you start to read the book, read a little bit about it, maybe watch a couple of her interviews, listen to what she says about her book. The way that I do it is I listen to the book on audio, and then I get the paperback book, the physical book, and reread certain parts of it to make sure I didn't miss anything. Or sometimes I reread because the passage is so good, I just want to see it on paper. And speaking of, there's two passages I want to read to you that I think are pivotal to this book, The Bluest Eye. So Pauline, or Mrs. Breedlove, is Piccola's mother. And she went to work for this white family. When she went to work for them, they nicknamed her Polly. And her name is Pauline, but they nicknamed her Polly. And that just, I mean, she got the nickname, she got the reputation, she cleans the house so well, she cooks, and she really took a lot of pride in that. In fact, it was the star of her life was this work that she did for this white family. But in contrast, let's see what she does with her own family. Pauline kept this order, this beauty for herself, a private world, and never introduced it into her storefront or to her children. Them she bent toward respectability, and in so doing taught them fear. Fear of being clumsy, fear of being like their father, fear of not being loved by God, fear of madness like Choli's mother. Into her son, she beat a loud desire to run away. And into her daughter, she beat a fear of growing up, fear of other people, fear of life. That's Piccola she's talking about. And then at the very end, this is so good. This is so good. The narrator says, love is never better than the lover. Let me read that again. Love is never any better than the lover. Wicked people love wickedly. Violent people love violently. Weak people love weakly. Stupid people love stupidly. But the love of a free man is never safe. There is no gift for the beloved. The lover alone possesses his gift of love. The loved one is shorn, neutralized, frozen in the glare of the lover's inward eye. That is just so good. That is just so good. Because see, when you hear about stories like what happened to Piccola, that's happened since that time. You would just look at the surface of things. Oh, a father abuses a daughter, blah, 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 right? But you have to go beneath that. And that's what Toni Morrison is so good at. She goes deep, deep, deep down to the roots of things and why they happen. And so I hope that has helped you. I hope you get her book. I hope that you read it. I hope you do your research about it. And then I hope you enjoy it and that you share it with others.